Red Racer by Audrey Wood. Read aloud by Miss Ponsler. Nona was pedaling to school on her old bicycle when the chain came off and the brakes jammed. "Look out!" Nona cried. She flew over the handlebars and crashed to the ground right in front of the brats. "There ought to be a law," Possum said. "No ugly bikes allowed in the neighborhood." "Yeah," Weasel agreed. "It hurts my delicate eyeballs." "Clunker, clunker, clunker," they teased. "Nona's got a junker." Nona fixed her bike. She was already late for school when she glanced up at the window of the hardware store. There, glowing as if it were on fire, stood a deluxe red racer. All during school that day, Nona could not stop thinking about the deluxe red racer. When the last bell rang, she hurried home to tell her parents the wonderful news. "It's the most beautiful bicycle in the whole world. We can buy it today." "You already have a bicycle. You don't need another one," her father said. "A new bike costs a lot of money," her mother agreed. Nona left the house and pedaled up the dirt road. She couldn't keep the red racer out of her mind. That's when Nona had a wicked thought. What if my old bicycle disappeared? Then Mom and Dad would have to buy me the red racer. Nona rolled her bicycle off a cliff and into the town dump. Without looking back, she ran all the way home. "My bike fell into a bottomless pit. It's gone forever," Nona shouted. Just then the doorbell rang. "Nona," her mother said, "please thank Mrs. Org. She found your bicycle at the dump. You didn't lose it after all." Nona thanked Mrs. Org, then took the bike. This time, the wicked thought led the way down to the pond. What if someone stole my old clunker? Nona wondered. Nona rolled her bicycle to the end of the pier and pushed it off into the icy water below. She looked around and spied her parents next to the pier. They were leaving the hardware store carrying large paper bags. "Mom! Dad!" Nona cried. "A giant pond monster stole my bike and took it to his cave beneath the water." "Look, Nona," her mother said. "Mr. Carp saved your bicycle. Isn't that wonderful?" Nona wheeled her soggy bike away. She couldn't get the chain back on, the seat was twisted, and both tires had gone flat. On the way home, she stopped to rest at the train station. The wicked thought was there, waiting for her. Nona placed her bike on the railroad tracks. "At 5 o'clock," she said, "the train will squish you flat." She hurried home to tell her parents the bad news. But when she opened the door, her mother and father shouted, "Surprise! We bought you everything to make your old bike look brand new," her father said. "We wanted to make you happy." Bong, 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 bong. Whoop, whoop. The clock struck 5 and the train whistled in the distance. Nona knew she had made a terrible mistake. Nona raced out the door and ran as fast as she could to the train station. But she was too late. "What a wicked thing, the train seemed to say as its wheels rolled by. "What have I done?" Nona cried. After the train passed, Nona looked up through her tears. She couldn't believe her eyes. Her bicycle was on another track. It hadn't been squished at all. Over the weekend, everyone worked together on Nona's old bicycle. And when they finished, Nona sped off down the road on the most beautiful bicycle in the whole world.